Hi, I'm Liam from Turn Sounds, and when your dishwasher's broken, just put them in the washing machine.
Yeah, one and two.
Welcome to Just Keep Walking. We're a podcast focused on the Walking Dead TV show, and this week we are discussing, let me just turn that down a little bit, Season 10, Episode 17, called Home Sweet Home.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
We are back. So,
Yeah.
it's been a little while since we've done a proper episode review, one of these.
I know.
We had the one sort of finale, episode 16, a few months ago, and then it's been another few months since then. So, it's sort of been all over the place, but great to be back. So, yes, I'm your host, Ben, and I'm joined by...
Isaac.
And...
Liam.
Awesome. So, as you can tell, we're getting back into the rhythm of things.
Yep, dusting off the cobwebs.
Exactly. But how are you guys doing before we get started?
I'm excellent.
Yeah, good.
Excellent.
That's good.
I'm doing well. I'm very happy to say that this episode crept right up on me. So
I know.
It was
Yeah.
a delight.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice. Fantastic. Well, this episode, this show, if you're not familiar with what we do, generally we'll just dive straight into sort of the main talking points of the episode and then go through sort of scene by scene. Well, we won't go into every single scene, but we'll just go through chronologically any sort of notes or standouts, chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought, and then we might have a bit of fun after that, seeing how much time we've got. So, spoiler alert for the whole series. We're just going to cover potential spoilers for everything, and for questions and suggestions, you can go to turnsounds.com. There's a contact us page there if you want to get in touch. And you can also see our other shows or plug in if you'd like some exclusive content.
Oh,
So
exclusive.
that's,
Yeah.
a little bit fancy there.
Extras.
Yeah. So, diving straight into the episode, Liam, why don't you let us know, what did you think about it overall?
Overall, loved it.
Awesome. Nice. That's great.
I think it definitely, the fact that I've been hanging out for this and same as Isaac, it crept up on me a bit.
Yeah.
I was just excited to be watching it again, but I really liked the entire direction of the episode, I suppose. The new threats, but yeah, it was just something different but good. I really liked it. The music, like the score underneath it was great.
Yeah. Very much so. Awesome. Isaac.
Same sort of thing. Like you mentioned right away, they've made the jump to filming in digital.
Yeah, it stands out. Hey.
It really does. I'll get more into that as the episode progresses. I overall did enjoy it. Again, like it's just new content that we just your eyes are glued to the screen because you're like, this is new and this is new and I haven't seen this before. I imagine it'd be the most for you, like as you watch these things fanatically.
Yeah, but no, that's like I avoid spoilers and stuff, but definitely like you're saying, as far as this is all new, like Reapers and stuff. I wasn't expecting any of that stuff. So it's lots of fresh stuff. Very exciting.
So right off, you guys have never heard of that from the comics or anything? Nothing.
No.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
So lots of new stuff. You're right. It just feels almost like. Yeah, well, it is essentially a new season. It's like a new mini sort of season, but it's sort of a fresh start, giving us a few new things, new look to the show, new villains and characters. So, it's cool. It felt fresh. That's what you want.
Indeed.
I 100%.
Fresh.
Hey, there we go.
Probably turn that down. Just
Okay, let's turn that down a touch. 100% agree with you guys. Yeah, it's just, it was a fun episode, and when it ended, it felt like it was ending too soon. So that's a good thing because it leaves you wanting more. So
also a bummer though. Every single time you're like, already like, yeah.
Yeah, it really felt like a build-up episode as well. Like, well, we got a bit of action and stuff, but it was like so many new things. And okay, where's this going to go? Oh, we're going to have to wait. But hey, good stuff. I guess diving into it chronologically, we open up it. From what I understood, that's straight after where we left off in the last episode, where they're sort of in the woods there just after leading the Whisperers horde over the cliff. And there was that reunion there. So was that the same impression you guys got, that it was straight after that?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
I was a little lost myself as well, actually.
Right, yeah.
That's about it.
So I think they probably could have done a little bit of a better job, maybe just to to make sure that we knew what was going on. But I'm pretty sure that was the idea, because last we saw it, like Maggie gave Judith a hug, and that was sort of like, oh, these characters are meeting, and Negan and Maggie hadn't seen each other yet. So, and then we open up the episode, and Maggie and Judith are talking, sort of just, you know, telling each other what's been going on, and then she spots Negan as everyone's sort of packing up and moving away. So yeah, at least good to just sort of give us that moment, because I remember, Isaac, I think you pointed out in the last episode, like, oh, it would have been good just for her to see Negan or to get that little glance.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Because I guess if they'd left it and it was when she got home or whatever, then it would have been like, oh, didn't you see him in the forest there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. They've definitely left me going, oh, what's it going to be? And so right at the start, you got Carol, and I was going to be like, damn it, Carol. Like, I thought that she was just trying to, like, speak badly of Negan to
It's
to
Negan's
Maggie.
fault.
Yeah, like, he was with the Whisperers when they burnt this down. I was like, why would you say that for? What?
Yeah, she could have saved it a little bit longer.
Yeah. And then, like, so Daryl is talking with Maggie all throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And I'm just begging, like, Daryl to say, okay, Negan's different now. Just say that. Just say he's, you know, we haven't forgotten what he's done, but he's not the same guy. And I think at the very end of the episode, he says something like, he's not the same or something.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So like, yeah.
That was what someone, one of the people who runs the Twitch channels was talking about on, they did like a Talking Dead preview special before these ones came out. And she was saying like, yeah, because we've had all the time and the story and everything to get to know the new Negan. And Maggie's had time, but she hasn't had the story. So like, so Daryl and Carol really need to vouch for Negan if he's going to have any chance, because that's the people who she trusts. So definitely hoping that they sort of step that up a bit and hopefully hold up their end of the bargain. Well, Carol's end of the bargain at least.
Well, because you can certainly see, even from Negan's point of view, like the remorse in his eyes every single time he looks at Maggie. Like right at the start, he just like, oh shit, like, and then toward the end when he comes out and sees her walking past, he's just like, he's saying I'm sorry over and over again with his eyes, even if he's not with his mouth. Yeah. That's what I get from it anyway. Yeah,
no, 100%. So it'll be interesting. I don't know when we're going to see that play out, if that's going to be left until season 11 or if we're going to get that next week potentially. Who knows? But that'll definitely be good to see that sort of move forward. And I don't know. Any theories on like where that could even go?
A very upsetting one, but
Oh, no, please. I want to hear it now.
I am thinking, and like, I don't want to speak this into existence. All right, I'm not superstitious. Here we go. I'm saying that he jumps on the grenade, whatever it may be. You know, it's come down to the wire. Maggie and or her son are going to die, and he does that one thing, sacrifices himself to save them, and she does like one little like, you know, nod to him or something. I don't know. Maybe she just forgives him at the funeral or whatever.
Absolutely. No, I love that.
I don't want that to happen.
But as a final, we're coming into the final season, so it doesn't have to be like next week. This could be a little bit down the line.
Right.
After there's been a bit of tension building up or things aren't quite resolved. And then, but imagine that Negan's introduced, he kills Glenn, and then he goes out by, you know, sort of making up for it, I suppose. Because
like, to add insult to injury, not only does he kill her husband, but at one point he was going to kidnap her and like force her to be his wife as well. Do you remember that? Like, so it's like,
oh, buddy,
total jerk all around.
Yeah, he wasn't a great guy at all. Yeah, all right. Well, it'll be interesting at least to see where that goes. We obviously met a few new people. There's Cole and Elijah. Any thoughts on them? Liam, you go first.
Liam, I'm taking this over.
Okay, Elijah, his outfit looks cool, but like it is not practical at all.
Right.
90% of the show, I'm thinking you can't see or hear anything that's coming up behind you, man. Your vision is obscured. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair
But other than
enough.
that, he looks
I
awesome.
mean, his face, if someone wanted to like punch him in the face, oh, I guess a punch would still hurt, but if someone wanted to slash him in the face.
Doesn't it kind of say penance to you guys of some kind? Like, what if he feels like he has to, like, I bet you he's
yeah.
just taking like a vow of silence for something, and like he
Yeah,
has to
right.
cover his face in support of something bad he's done. That's my guess.
No, I'd believe that.
Yeah, that's kinda cool.
I thought even potentially he could be deaf as well because he was sort of speaking in, like he did the half an hour thing in
Yeah.
sign language.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
I thought, and then the theory was quashed. I thought that as soon as they started introducing the Reapers and they had like their little campsite that they had burnt down, I thought, oh, well, maybe this dude has like run into these guys before and his face is like burnt
Yeah.
to buggery. That's what I was expecting. So when he lifted his mask, I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
like charred. And then it was just perfect. No burns, no scars. I'm like, ah, okay, he's fine. No issues.
Beautiful.
Oh, Kelly opens the mask. Hey, you're a famous country singer too.
Sing us a song. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, they're cool. And Cole seems cool. He had like, what, 2 lines? but he seems cool.
Already, like, great acting from him. Like,
Yeah.
I've got to say, unless he turns into a jerk, he's maybe leaning that way. He could be one of my new favorite characters, even, and I know that this is
Wow.
kind of blasphemy or sacrilegious. He's maybe even a little bit more badass than Daryl, as far as like, you see his 2 like little
Oh, yeah.
rapiers he's got there. He does the double swing down, splits the walker, and
Yeah.
Yeah, about twice the size of Daryl's knives, and he's got 2 of them as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And he says at the start something that really any of us would be thinking if we were in that situation. Like he says, and he looks all confused. He's like, "We're headed back to like where is it again? Like Alexandria. Okay, Alexandria." It's like, yeah, you've got all these weird names for all the places. Like, how am I supposed to remember? I don't know. Where are we going? Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. I like him though.
Believable.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's good. So they find that sort of, I don't know what it was, shipping container place where they like, all right, let's hold up here for the night. Something which it didn't stand out too much. I'm curious if you guys noticed this at all. Did you notice that most of the action and the kills were sort of from a distance as far as the social distancing side of things? So they were mostly like you'd throw a knife or there'd be a shot of like the walker and the arm would swing in and sort of get it. And the only time they really got close was when there was the door in between them as Maggie was like trying to push the door closed. Did that stand out to you guys at all?
No, but it makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very clever. Like it didn't feel like that at all. But yeah, just it occurred to me slightly. I was like, oh, okay, I could see that. That's clever.
Smart.
Yeah. So that's good that you didn't notice it though. That's what
Yeah.
you want.
Let's definitely not forget the old.
Damn! Classic Negan.
Oh yeah, the squish in the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you made spaghetti before this, and you've got. Tell us what your rule is.
Okay, so well.
And I fed him spaghetti.
Hey, so
Accurate.
I was honored to be able to serve good friend Liam some spaghetti.
It was good. He did feed me spaghetti. It was
Yep.
delicious.
Yep, brought him home and everything. So, but we've got these bowls of spaghetti we're watching, and we'd already talked about like, oh, is this a good idea? We're eating this sloppy, gut like food and watching Walking Dead, and then this guy's head gets like watermelon. It's I just like put the spoon
And it
back in.
was just as you'd like taken the mouthful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like, yuck.
Oh dear. Yeah. But hey, what can you do?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good.
I always appreciate your classic Isaac. Yuck! that you contribute. I was like, this is fun.
Oh, that comes later on, actually.
yeah, true. Oh, true.
I will say though, like I've had enough of these pushing the walkers back behind a door type motif.
Okay.
It's just they do it so often in this show where there are walkers trying to come into the door, and you get one person trying to push it shut, whatever. And in other cases, and it actually happens as well where while they're pushing, they get injured in some way because the walkers are reaching out and clawing them, and then more people come and they slowly shut the door, and it's like, now we're safe. Like, why were they all in there in the first place?
Times,
Yeah, good point.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
It's just a zombie thing. I get it. But, yeah.
There you go.
Couldn't you have one person like reach in and stab them all and then shut the door? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what I was thinking.
Okay,
when
yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I didn't sort of think along the same train of thought, but I was thinking you guys have just like stormed into this little fenced off area. You're taking out all these walkers, but all of a sudden, because there's more about to come through, like, no, we must block these ones. You're doing fine with all the others. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. You could just let him out and have at it.
social distancing though. So
Yeah. Of course.
quarantine. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
They quarantine the walkers.
One more point though.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys ever think this way, but whenever I watch it, especially in this scene in particular, I thought like little Star Wars quote, I'm like, it's over, Anakin, I have the high ground. I'm like, just climb on top of the container, man, they can't get you. And then
Yeah, and they've
Pop 'em
all
off one by
got
one.
projectile
Yeah.
weapons for the most part.
Drop a bowling ball on them. Big
I'm
move.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or the guy, Cole, with his long knives, he could like sort of hang off the edge with his
Yeah.
arms swinging.
There you go.
Yeah, get him from a
Possibilities are
distance.
endless, man.
Right.
High ground.
They need your creativity in there, man.
Well, we've said this before. Like, they've gotten so good at killing these walkers
Yeah.
that it just seems such a trivial act these days whenever they need to quickly clear out a site that it's like, you know what to do. You know how to do it safely, you know.
Sure.
And you know when to avoid them. Maybe that was just their call. Let's avoid them by shutting them in here. But, like, if it's only going to be maybe as much as another 10, like, you can handle that, especially if they're funneling out from one spot.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it just makes the stakes not feel so high, so their reaction to those stakes feels over the top sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, fair. I mean, I probably would have done that. Just try and close them in there.
There you go, yeah.
But yeah, who knows? He's there. So I'll just go through the next few things. Jump in if you have anything to say. But yeah, we get a sort of a conversation with a bit of backstory of what Maggie's been up to. Not like heaps, but enough just to give us what we need to know about Georgie and what's been going on there. So yeah, I'm happy enough with that. I was definitely hoping to find out maybe a few more details, but thinking about it, like, no point going into it if it's not relevant to what's happening. So they sort of covered enough bases. And then it sort of brought the conversation back to Negan as well of Herschel asking what happened to my dad and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, moving on, they're trying to find, well, they're not trying to find, they're just making their way back to Maggie's group where they left them. And yeah, they find the smoke, the place has been burnt down, and the introduction to this mysterious villain, the Reapers, which, have you guys watched Firefly at all?
One episode.
No, but I know a Mass Effect franchise and they have the same thing, the Reapers.
Right, okay. I could be wrong. I think they're called Reapers in Firefly as well. So,
Okay.
there you go.
so
It's them.
I just got to point out, I'm so glad someone else hasn't watched it yet. Like, everyone's like, you haven't watched Firefly?
Yeah.
It's a good
this-
show.
it's a
Ben
good
reckons
feeling.
it's good. It
Yeah.
feels very third-party Star Wars to me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And it is one of those things which I don't really like saying this, but where like once you get sort of a few episodes in, then it starts getting good, or then you start liking it. But then I don't like it when people say that anyway.
It's great after the third season. You just have to put...
Yeah. Well, come on.
Yeah. Which
No,
is
it's not bad.
maybe my first negative talking point. I don't know
Okay.
if we're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe constructive criticism maybe for
Yeah.
the show writers. I think we've had enough bad guy villains for a while. And I get that we're moving into a final season, but it's like, okay, so we've had, name these with me, like we've had people over at Woodbury. Then after that, we had the Saviors, was it?
Well,
Or
there
the
was sort of
Wolves?
there's like Terminus. which
Terminus.
They were only sort of there for a few episodes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Wolves and the Saviors, Whisperers, and now possibly, you know, can we not just have a little bit of like infighting or a little bit of drama, or even just like we need to find a water supply for the town. Let's go on this mission. Oh, look, here's some old supply. Like, does it really have to be this external threat the whole time? Can it not just be, let's clear some walkers? Let's do a good amount of like, you know, forgiving of people within the group. Meet new people or whatever. You can meet one or two dodgy people that you have to take care of, but a whole nother threat of, oh no, we're being hunted by the Reapers now. It feels like it's just, okay, so we just beat the Whisperers and now we're already onto something else.
Yeah, okay.
And
I see that.
the question gets begged with all of these during like the Savior's times. Where were the Whisperers and the Reapers then? Like they just show up one after the other in like a linear fashion. I don't know.
I think this one, like, if they just randomly rocked up out of nowhere, then that would be annoying. But I think it makes sense as far as, like, they're sort of a follow-on from Maggie's story, and they've just been following Maggie. So it's not like
Right.
they've just randomly appeared out of nowhere.
Okay.
I like that element of it, at least, that there's this. It's not like they're meeting this new group. It's like, okay, there's a story here. They've already attacked us a whole pile of times, and now we're sort of being thrown into the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it better
yeah.
when you say it that way, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But also, I'm curious to hear. Well, I'm curious to see what happens in the episodes at least. But I think over the next few, there's going to be a good variety. From what I've heard about the Father Gabriel and Aaron one, that is very much okay. We need to find these supplies, and they're just going out doing sort of day-to-day stuff, and it mostly revolves around that. So I'm keen to see a bit of variety. So
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah, I mean, you could say as well, like, that the fact that they blend into the environment is kind of like the Whisperers who blend into the Walkers, but I do like it.
I really like that. I was
Yeah.
kind of hoping they'd be a little bit more like moss and tree stuff on you and like actual. The fact that it was, man-made camo was a bit
Is it
like...
practical to have moss on though? Like, wouldn't I don't
No,
know, wouldn't it all fall off?
no, you're right. But if they were like people just living among the jungle, like the music the whole time sounded kind of just like bongo drum
It
type.
sounded like the Predator music, hey, when
Yeah.
they're looking around, it's like...
Yeah. So, and you can clearly tell that Cole is very shook by like,
Yeah.
they're out there, they're going to kill us all type attitude. So, like, okay, they're dangerous.
If Cole says so,
Yeah.
we'll believe it.
Well, you listen to Cole, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What did you think of him?
I am on actually the same page as both of you. I was a little bit like, I like that there's a new threat, yes, but I also thought if you look at it in the context of this is still season 10, like you've literally just conquered the Whisperers,
Yeah.
and within like not even a full episode later, we're introduced to the next big bad.
Sure.
Okay, that's a little bit soon, but I definitely like that it's not, like you say, someone just randomly appearing and going, yeah, we're the new bad guys. It's like it's a couple of one, who knows how many they are that have followed Maggie.
Yeah.
So it's it fits in with her story, which I like. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's cool. The name, not so much, but
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
bit, yeah.
a little bit cheesy.
What about like the Hunters or something? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to suggest anything.
But yeah, I'm kind of hoping it'll be similar to the Wolves, where they're not like a major villain. They're just sort of there for a little bit, and then, but it's not like we got a whole season dedicated to these guys. So even if the story's heading the way of everyone moving towards the Commonwealth or a new community wherever Eugene is or something like that, then these could be the guys who are sort of, you got to look out for them when you're on the road. They could be sort of just the side villain there. I could see that being pretty cool. But yeah, if they do go down the route of being, these are the new Whisperers and then we've got a Reaper War, it's like, oh, come on.
I would suggest, though, what could be a cool idea is so the one guy that we met who blew himself up and shot a bunch of people, what if he was part of an actual community called the Reapers? Like, that's still their name.
Okay.
But they are, for the most part, peaceful community. They just have the kind of mentality that I guess Oceanside does. Like, you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. Back in the day when Oceanside used to be like that. What if they're actually part of a community like that? Just, we're living off on our own, stay away from us, we don't trust anyone else. And then just a few bad people who just wanted to know that we need to wipe them out.
Yeah.
And that's the idea that they've gotten of the Reapers, is just from a few bad ambassadors.
Yeah, I like that.
That could be pretty cool.
That'd be better maybe than a whole like evil out there of
Yeah.
And more believable as well, rather than just these evil people just wanting to be evil. Like, okay.
villainy.
What if, like, who are the villains from World Beyond? Like,
Or
The,
what, as in the big community, the CRM?
yeah, that's it. I wonder if they're connected.
Well, he's got good gear, good
Yeah.
camo, good.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
He seems very military-esque.
Oh,
We need to find out what he said. We need to go back and watch
Yeah,
the
we
subtitles.
completely missed that.
I thought it was the Pope wants to see you, or Pope wants you, or something like that.
I heard him just say Beaumont Kin, and I was like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let us know. Turnsounds@gmail.com. Or we'll probably just watch it with subtitles anyway.
Might have been a different language.
Maybe.
Oi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was not obvious.
No.
Nah.
There we
Cool.
go.
I'm glad
Uh,
you guys thought so. 'Cause I was like, what?
But yeah, so yeah, he blows himself up, and that was where your signature. Yuck.
Yeah, gross. Also, grenades are pretty dang lethal. There's no way you could just hit the deck and stand right next to one that goes off like that.
Even if, because it was sort of under a pile of his gear.
If it, even then, like the shockwave would like send hemorrhaging throughout. Like there'd be nosebleeds, there'd be ear bleeds.
Right.
Also, when a grenade goes off, I think it's close your eyes, block your ears, and open your mouth. Because
Really?
yeah, because if you like, most people like bite down when they're like
Yeah.
bunkering down, but the blast wave actually can shatter your teeth. So
Whoa.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, keep your mouth open, close your eyes, plug your ears.
And
I have
face
heard that.
down. Don't have your mouth open face up when this guy's blowing his guts everywhere.
Yeah.
I have heard that, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
That clears that up.
Yeah. Are there different, not to get too sidetracked, are there different like sizes or types of grenades? Are there sort of small ones that are less powerful, or are they all the same pretty much?
Variants, you know,
Okay.
there are variants, but there's a general sort of radius, and definitely not next to someone. Like those things
Yeah.
are pretty, yeah.
Alright, fair enough.
Even okay, so best case scenario, you're going to be dazed. I would think you're not going to get up straight away, like shake off some guts and walk away. You're
Yeah.
there's going to be that confusion and high pitched noise, and
Okay, fair enough.
would think.
Yeah.
but you know,
Crater in the ground.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. I like learning these things from you. It's good. Yeah, you know a lot more about it than I do. Yeah, okay. So where to from here? I guess they go and find Herschel up in the trees, chucking stuff at him. Come on, man.
But it seemed odd that you guys, it was just a log balanced in between two trees.
Yeah. Well, it looks like, just a tree had fallen over and sort of gotten caught in the other tree.
Perfectly, like, yeah.
I would believe it, actually. I reckon that's a real thing they found in the woods and then just said, oh, this is cool, let's film it.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even pick up on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
The one he's sitting on up in the tree, it's like they cut to like a long shot of it, and it's pretty impressive, actually.
It is,
I didn't
yeah.
pick up on it at all.
yeah.
And it makes sense. A kid sees that. Oh, that looks cool. Let's climb on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, of the two lines of dialogue, what did you think of Herschel, Liam?
I liked his intro, like throwing a rock or something at his mum's head.
A little punk.
Yeah, and she just turns around and just
Worried to
grins.
death about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was great. But I really liked like the acting from Lauren Cohen was incredible. Like the look she was giving him, like oh that's so cute.
Oh,
But yeah, throwing a rock at her head, I'm like, I like this kid. This kid's
Yeah.
going places.
he's going places. Any thoughts, Isaac?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's not. Of course, it's not the same actor. What am I talking about? It's one of those like all grown up type of things from the tiny little baby that we saw before. So there's a moment there, and exactly that. Just hi, mom, and you're just like, you rotten kid. Like yeah, exactly all of that.
Definitely. I think the baby that was in season 9, at least, when you saw him as a baby, was Angela Kang's son. So
Wow.
I guess not quite enough time's passed that he's grown up. So he probably doesn't want to do acting anyway. But yeah, so there you go. Little random fact.
6 years old, we're calling him in the story.
I'm
think-
so bad with like aging kids. Like I don't know how.
But like the time jump was like 6 years.
Oh
wasn't
right, okay, yeah.
it? Or 7 years.
Yeah, I'd say like 7.5 years later by this point.
Okay,
Yeah.
Does he look older than Judith to you?
he does, yeah.
Yeah,
me.
that's what I was thinking. I think he should be younger than Judith.
Again, I suck with kids in age. I have no idea. Are you 10? Are you 5? I don't know.
Can you brush your own teeth?
Yeah, so who knows? But no, he was cool. Definitely good sort of good mix of, I don't know. He looks right for the role. Mix of Glenn and Maggie. Yeah, and keen to see more of him at least, because there's
Yeah.
only so much you can really say from 2 minutes of screen time. But yeah, it's cool. So
So just to
Yeah,
back up
go
on
for
that, so did you feel anything at all during the look at the flowers
Just look at the flowers.
scene where these kids are being?
what do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a disregard for kids.
I'm not disregarding kids. I'm just saying it's hard to tell how old they are.
Okay.
Like Lizzie, is she like 12 or is she 7? I don't know.
Put your child hatred on the back burner.
I'm not hating on kids. The kids are great.
I'll just work on that. That's all right.
Yeah, fair enough. There's something there.
Yep.
Yeah, remind me if I'm missing anything, but getting towards the end scene, there's they come back to Alexandria and is Carol, I think, who says the Whisperers left a parting gift.
Ah.
Yeah,
okay.
so is there anything specific you guys can remember that happened there? Because we did see Beta's horde all in Alexandria, so they could have just trashed the place and set fire to a few things on the way out. But do you remember anything else happening?
No, not really. I remember it ending pretty abruptly, I think.
Yeah.
So we went from, that was the tower, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
think. From there straight over to, they're in this random compound.
Yeah.
Building surrounded by
So
the
they
Whisperers.
did kind of skip over that a bit.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what was written on the back wall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was silence the Whisperers, and the silence there was crossed out, and then it was... Oh, no, it was
Into
silence the
screams.
Whispers, and then whispers into screams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea
Whispers into
what that
screams. Yeah.
means. And unless Whisperers have like spray paint and are good at using it, I wouldn't have thought that they would have done it. So, I don't know what the story is there.
I just assumed that was carry on from Dante's work, because he was the one who was riling everyone in the community up, right?
Yeah, well,
I
he-
just assumed,
put it in
yeah,
the
he
first
put it
place,
all up
didn't he?
there.
Yeah.
I assumed that it was just the rest of the people in the community going, yeah, let's kill these guys. So someone else is going, let's not just silence them, let's make them pay, let's make them scream.
Yeah,
That was my impression right from the get go.
I'd buy that. Sounds good.
How
Yeah.
do you feel like the residents of Alexandria, like the real life people that live there? How do you reckon they feel about the place being trashed every other episode? Like,
Yeah, probably not too happy.
set fire to your house again. Oh,
Great, thanks, guys.
here's a check.
Yeah, and that, well, I mean, this at least sort of upfront explains a lot of it, because there's been a lot of leaked set photos of the windmill burnt down and a pile of the walls knocked down. So a pile of people were like, oh, what's going on here? And then the official Walking Dead page released a production still from the start of season 11 saying beginning work, and they had like that in the picture. So I guess they figured people would see it and no point in hiding it. But at least that sort of, it's not some big secret. It's like, oh yeah, Whisperers just trashed it on the way out.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Although it's probably not true. It would be cool if there was a story of like actual vandals went and had a go at the place and knocked a few walls down, and then like, oh, let's just put this in the story.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah. There
We
we
can
go.
only hope.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought the song. I haven't touched on the score yet. Maybe we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, like you guys said, the score for this episode was amazing, but the song as well at the end. It sounded like it fit in so well with the score. I looked it up, and it wasn't an original made for the series, but yeah, it felt like it fit in. Hey, did you have any? Let's just get into the music overall. Any sort of thoughts or notes on that, Liam?
Not outside of what I already said, to be honest. Like I just thought it fit really well with the episode, and it was just really, really well done.
Yeah,
It just sounded cool.
yeah. That was definitely, what was it? The montage where they're walking through the forest.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
that was when we went, oh, this is cool.
So they've got the acoustic guitar, which is, I couldn't tell you what chords it was playing, but it's really like picking and letting it twang back. And so like there's this very rural feel about it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a nice clean strum of the guitar. It's very picked and plucked, and it feels like, I don't know, very janky, but somehow it just really fit the score.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
100%. Yeah. That was solid. Yeah, there was. It wasn't exactly note for note, but it was the instrument was exactly the same, and the notes were almost the same. There was like a little sort of 2 seconds worth of music that played in episode 16 when Maggie came in and saved Father Gabriel, and then it looks like they've just taken that and sort of built on it and made it into a whole theme for this. So that was the sort of melody that was playing for the most part throughout, from what I picked up.
So like a loose type Maggie's theme, if you want to call it.
Yeah, essentially. Oh, the new Maggie. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll hope not to hear too much more of the Predator theme, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was cool, but if that becomes like we hear that, oh no, the Reapers are around type. Like,
I wouldn't mind that.
because they did a similar thing with the Whisperers with that dun 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 dun
Right.
dun, dun, and it just like
Got a bit
we
annoying.
get it, like, you know, the Whisperers are around, or that feel is around.
Okay.
And while that is very helpful, I feel, in like building the right mood, sometimes it gets repetitive because it puts you in certain moods when you are experiencing the different scenes. So it's like, if Old Bongo's Predator theme comes along, straight away, it's not going to be a surprise to me then if they jump out of the bushes, you know?
Right.
That makes sense.
Fair enough. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it.
Not
but
in this episode, but just if it...
You could say the same with Jaws, though, couldn't you? When you hear the dun 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 dun, it kind of takes away the surprise of the shark coming.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's a good point. I hadn't thought of it.
I suppose in those sequences, the people are already expecting the shark and they're looking around, and then when it doesn't come, then it's like, oh, woof. Like,
Although in Jaws, there's a few teasers, and the music only plays when the shark is actually there, because there's the bit where like the kids have the fake fin in the water, and it kind of seems like they're setting it up for the shark to attack, but there's no music, and then it turns out just to be kids mucking around. So yeah, that's definitely used as a telltale only for the shark.
right.
Yeah.
I thought they did one bait and switch where they did it and it wasn't real, but I'll go back and watch it because I'm due for a rewatch of that.
Oh, fair. I would be very curious though. I reckon in the temp score, like when they're editing, they probably put the Predator soundtrack in there when they're looking around in the trees, because it felt so similar anyway. That's what I would have gone for if I was editing the scene. I was like, oh, this feels like Predator. Let's just put that music in there. But either way, I guess just good music. It felt solid. There was a good bit of variety. Even at the start, there was the little family theme that's been set up already, and that sort of went into a more upbeat version as Judith and Maggie were saying goodbye. So, some cool little things in there. There we go. So I think that's the majority of it. Is there anything that I haven't covered, or any other notes or things that you guys wanted to talk about?
I'm just looking up now the song that played in the end, the actual vocal one.
Yeah, I've got the name of it. I googled it.
You Want
just
It
before.
Darker?
You got it, legend.
Yeah. Leonard Cohen, huh? Or maybe it's like a cover. Oh, it'd have to be. That's not Leonard Cohen.
All right.
Anyway, I'm trying to pull up the lyrics because it was very much... It felt like it was as if Maggie was singing it about Negan in a way. That's what I took from it, and so I'm trying to find
Yeah,
it.
let us know.
Yeah. Liam, say something.
Something.
Let's leave this in. This is great.
Okay, here we go. I'm trying to find the thing.
That's okay.
Something.
Is he related to Lauren Cohen, Leonard Cohen?
Maybe. Magnified, sanctified by the holy name. Feel the fire, crucified in the human frame. A million candles burning for the help that never came. You want it darker. I don't know.
Have you got a crowd cheering sound effect?
No.
Oh, it's just like, you have the X Factor.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, look, I'm sorry. This is
No,
gone
that's all
nowhere,
right. Worth
but-
looking into. Worth giving it a shot.
Yeah, there was something about it which it didn't feel like it wasn't there for nothing. You know, like
Right.
it was carefully picked for something. So
I don't have a clue who Leonard Cohen is. What makes you say that it wasn't him, that it was a cover?
because it was a girl singing it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's just my first guess.
Well-
but
All right, let's move on. Oh, dear. Oh, okay.
You Dr. Smarty Pants.
Well, in that case, obviously, it'd take a bit more research. I'd be curious. I wonder if if it was done like a cover specifically for this episode, because it just sounded like it fit in so well with the score.
It's
Yeah,
likely, yeah.
there's some research to do. Yeah. Any last thoughts on the episode before we move on?
Hungry for more.
Hungry for more.
Yeah.
yeah, I think I've said this before. Anytime, like, and it's powerful, you know, when characters have these interactions and they sit down and they talk about what it is they're feeling, their backstories and all of that. But I can't help but being like, I'm pointing at my watch going like, the time's ticking, like the episode's running out, like
Right.
more action, come on. And the funny thing is I didn't feel that way back in seasons 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because it was like looking like there was going to be 20 seasons or something. Like,
Okay.
I was like, sure, like I got all day, like, you know, you want to talk, let's talk. But now that we're nearing to the end, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is valuable time. This is valuable real estate. Like, yeah,
Burning daylight here, guys. Come on.
no one cares about your feelings.
Ah, interesting. Because I thought, well, at least if you look at what they're talking about, like here, Maggie's telling the story of what's been going on, questions we've all been wondering about. It's like, oh, yeah, you know, we want to know this stuff. Whereas in season 2, Rick and Shane are talking about like the random girls they dated in high school. Like, oh, do you remember Mrs. Whatever? Oh, yeah. Like, what? How is this relevant? But I get that makes a lot of sense that now the end date is in sight. It's like every moment counts.
But I will say exactly what you said. Like, we found out some valuable stuff today.
Yeah.
Her talking with Daryl, yes. Her, when I say her, Maggie.
Yeah.
Talking with Daryl, yes. Maggie talking with Kelly, less so. I was kind of like, I get it. You're grateful. And then even, it was very brief, but Kelly talking to
Elijah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely set up for that to go somewhere with Elijah. Who knows where? But
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys will look over at me when there'll be some scene in an episode where your friend, who's the girl I don't like?
What, Carol?
Carol, yes. Carol.
Really?
Carol is going to have some massive monologue, and I'm just going to be there the whole time going,
Yeah.
we got to keep it moving.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'm warming on Lydia, so you know. just so you know.
Yeah. She made a very brief appearance here, didn't she?
But it's easy to warm things up from Stone Cold, so
Yeah.
no,
Well,
only way
I
to
like
go
that.
is up.
There
So
you go. That's true. Yeah. So, well, I guess one other thought is that I would probably. This is just a guess, but I would get used to the feeling of, oh, that's it. Like it's just set up, and then sort of leaves the rest of the story. I have a feeling most of these 6 episodes are just going to be sort of the start of some different threads set up for season 11 to then actually properly explore them. So
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but from at least the lineup of seeing, you know, what characters each one's going to focus on, you know, we've got a bit of Princess and Ezekiel and all that, and then a bit of these guys. So there'll be some backstory stuff, but a lot of it seems like it'll be, okay, here's the start of the story, and then come back for season 11 and we'll give you the full thing. So, yeah, there we go.
can I just ask a quick question to the
Please.
both of you?
Yeah.
I know we have a whole nother season plus these episodes.
Yeah.
I'll just say for these episodes, are you guys hoping for closure of any kind? Are you hoping that this gonna close the chapter on some characters, be it either they walk off into the sunset or they die? Like, or do you want to see this kind of play out into the movies, into the spin-off series?
Are you talking? Oh, okay. So are you talking? You're wanting to be closure in these 6 episodes, or just in the series overall?
Yeah, I don't expect we'll get too much in these 6 episodes. I'll just say in this series, like in this last season that's coming up, would you be happy for it to be, okay, so we're still living in an entire Walker world, or is it, all right, we've killed most of them off in this area. we can now rebuild and all of that.
Good question.
Very good question.
Is that what you're hoping for? Because I kind of am. I was hoping from the day one that it was going to be built up to like eradication or immunity or curing even.
Yeah.
That's what I had hoped.
Well, so you could kind of get a bit of both, because obviously we know there's the Daryl and Carol series coming. So why not have the whole Alexandria community and most of the main cast find a sustainable way of living? Okay, we've sorted all this out. We've got it clear. And then Daryl and Carol just feel like going off and helping out some other people, or just going on an adventure and leave everyone else behind who are, you know, living happily ever after. So we could get a bit of both, I suppose.
Yeah. I kind of don't want there to be a cure.
Not cure. Maybe throw that away, but
I like the whole idea of rebuilding, but I also like the sense that this is the world now.
okay.
So I also like my main idea that I really want to see, I guess, is they find a sustainable way of living. So the threat is always going to be there, and they're all infected. So if someone dies, it could just be the beginning of the next outbreak, so to speak.
True.
So I'd like to see, yeah, they've really accepted, cool, this is the world now. How do we make the most of it? And yeah, like you said about Alexandria, like, yep, cool, we've got it under wraps now. We're all good. I think that would be a cool way to end it.
Especially if Rick comes back and there's like closure for those characters as well. So hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that's a good question. I highly doubt it's going to happen, but I could see potentially, just because there's that whole Here's Negan episode coming up at the end. I highly doubt it, because there's not quite enough time, but they could use that as like a closing point for Negan, I suppose.
You know,
But
make a
probably
grown
not,
man
probably
cry.
not.
That'll be it. He jumps on the grenade. Here comes Negan.
Yeah, that's what he says as he's diving here. Negan, boom.
Yeah. Oh no, he doesn't dive on it. He like leans backwards onto it. That's what he does.
Yeah. I have no idea how this would work practically, but there's like a landmine and he's leaning on Lucille and he like leans back and pushes Lucille down. Boom. I don't know, that's silly. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, good episode and very much excited for more. Yeah, why don't we go into a bit of exclusive plugged in stuff?
Here
we
we
usually.
I have a Walker of the Week if you want.
Oh yeah, let's do Walker of the Week now, and then we'll do one more little bit that we'll leave as something exclusive for the plugged in people. So plugged in.
Hashtag plug in.
If you don't know, if you weren't paying attention at the start, which hey, I can't blame you. Sometimes just put on a podcast and go to the toilet and then come back 5 minutes in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Each to their own.
So it's like me coming along and saying, "Plugged in, Ben. What's that?"
What's that? I'm glad you asked, little boy. I don't know.
How
that
old
voice
do you
of-
think I am?
This is going down a weird
I
path.
have no idea.
Why do you hate kids?
Okay, so plugged in. It's like Patreon, right? Because we had Patreon, but it kind of sucks because it like takes the whole chunk of your money, and
Yeah.
there's all these rules about things that you can and can't do. It's like, you know what? Why don't? The main thing is just that they take all your money.
It's a good platform for creators, and
It's
you know,
good, yeah.
but when you give your money to someone to support them, you want to know that your money is going toward the right things, okay? And much though Patreon was helpful for us, it's like the amount that they take just takes away from the amount that we would receive.
Well put. Well put.
I think that's not how I mean it, but yeah.
But yeah, essentially what we've done is we've set up a PayPal thing, so your money's still nice and safe with PayPal. It's not a sneaky backdoor bank transfer, cash in the dark alley sort of thing.
But it could be.
Yeah, well, hey. So that's just if you'd like to support the show and show your appreciation and also get a few little bonuses as well, then that's the way to do it. So turnsounds.com for that. But yeah, why don't we get into Walker of the Week? You can pick a Walker from this episode or just one from the show in general. And let's just show some appreciation for the Walkers.
All right.
Oh,
There we go.
All right. This is the Walker like cruising onto the set, you know.
I love it.
We've had this before, I think. but
The music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good music.
anyhow, you remember one of the first. Oh, you could tell me what episode it was, Ben. We meet Father
Okay.
Gabriel, okay?
Yeah, season 5, episode 2.
Yep, and
Insane, I love it.
yeah, it's crazy. Whatever. We see etched on the side of the thing, "You'll pay for this" or something like
Yeah,
that. Whatever.
yeah.
Was that what it says?
Yeah, on the church. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're all suspicious of him, right? But he agrees to go with them on this raid, and it takes them to some underwater cellar. You're like the
Yeah.
basement's flooded, all right?
Yeah.
Up pops the Walker of the Week. It's this lady who's clearly been underwater for some time, and it's always just so gross when they do this because, like, you know, the skin's soaked in all this water. They're all
It's
bloated.
practically just falling off. It's so.
Yeah. They just pop up out of nowhere and grab people, and that's
Ugh.
I think where Bob gets bitten.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tainted meat.
Oh.
That's where he gets tainted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, one disgusting Walker,
Oh,
and that's one that I thought about recently and went,
Yeah.
yuck.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, man. And doesn't one of them like they stab one and there's like just gross stuff like spilling out of it? Ugh.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
Going
you
into
just
the
don't want
water,
to be in that water at all.
Not sanitary at all.
But look, would you guys do that for? It was the whole pile of canned food because it was from the church, like canned food drive or whatever.
Right.
So it's pretty good reward, but it's pretty gross.
Yuck.
I feel like you can find a way around it.
Or to siphon the water out somehow, or like,
Just get a bunch of logs or something and, climb across.
or get like a pool, like one of those big long pool staves, and just like fish around in the water, see if anything
Yeah,
comes
that's
up,
good.
and then you know it's safe.
Yeah, mate, they need you there.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Ah.
And in season 9, do you remember Anne was like, because she was drawing pictures of people. There's the one of Glenn and Herschel on the wall and stuff like that. But she was doing a drawing for Father Gabriel of that same woman who was obviously something in Father Gabriel's
Yeah,
past.
yeah.
So there's a nice little tie back there. It's like, oh yeah, that lady.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, if you go back and look, it's the glasses that give it away. And then he talks about like, oh, she was the organ player at my church or whatever. That's cool. Nice little tie back there.
I do like that, they're saying they're banging on the doors, let us in, and he doesn't let them in. And so, quick, we need to scribble on the, you'll pay for this or something.
Yeah. And that takes a bit of time to like carve that out. in a
And
bit of
effort.
work.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that was the last guy left. He'd been bit. He's like, I'm going to die. Let's just leave a message for this guy, make him feel
You
bad.
couldn't just yell that out.
Yeah.
You'll be sorry.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. Liam, have you got one? A Walker of the Week.
Oh, that is a good question.
Spot.
I can't remember where it's from.
Yeah.
And I think it was Daryl. Correct me if I'm wrong. You'll be able to tell me the episode.
Of course you will. Yeah.
There's one where Daryl like sticks his fingers into I'm pretty sure the walker was burnt
Yeah.
into his eyes and sort of uses it to smack someone. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, the season 5, episode 8, I believe, and
Amazing.
they're all like, oh no, it could be episode 7. Yeah,
Oh.
one of the two. There we go. A little bit of doubt. But yeah, they're like kind of melted on the road there. Yeah. Charred,
Yuck.
if you will.
Yeah.
Oh.
Reminded me of a bowling ball. Everything in the zombie apocalypse just comes back to bowling balls.
Yeah,
for
it's a
me.
good weapon. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Big mo.
I like it. That's the most worried I think I've ever been for Daryl because he's like reaching
Yeah,
for it and his
yeah.
hand like goes in the mouth for a second before it snaps shut. It's
Oh.
like, oh, that was a close one there,
Yeah.
buddy. Yeah, mate. It's good choice. So my one kind of like the
So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. The Walker's like kind of just an average Walker. He's cool, but he's like normal looking. Well, his legs have all been chewed off, I suppose. So this is in season 2. There's one like hanging from the tree. He's committed suicide, and a pile of other Walkers come and like eating his legs off, which is pretty gross.
Is that the one that then Daryl shoots?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Waste of an arrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that, which is good makeup anyway, because it's pretty gross. The funny part that I like about it is I think it's on the tree or whatever. He leaves a note somewhere. And actually, have you got a call? Have you got one of those?
Ooh.
Oh, the music's
it's
on
the
the same
music,
channel. Okay, so we don't do swearing on this show, so I'm going to ask you to press Carl instead of swearing. So essentially, the note says, got bit, fever hit, world gone to, might as well quit. Which is, yeah, that didn't go so smoothly, did it? But it was I just thought it was a funny
in
moment.
post, Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I guess because he's like hung himself up by the neck, like the sounds he makes, he's kind of like, I don't know.
yeah.
That's not accurate at all.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That wasn't very good explanation at all, but
You're all right.
let's move right along. So, yeah, walk of the week. Thanks for
I like it.
Thanks for that segment, Isaac. Oh,
Excellent.
good timing.
So much closure.
Brilliant.
So yeah, we're going to end the episode here for all you regular listeners. So thanks so much for tuning in. You're all appreciate.
Yeah, very much,
Regular's
yeah.
not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Even if you
Yeah.
don't want to, or you don't have the funds to flick us a few bucks, just send us an email and let us know that you're listening, because that definitely, it means a lot to us. It's just good to know that people are enjoying the show and listening. So yeah, once again, turnsounds.com for that. And have a great week. We'll see you this time next week.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.